Stop scrolling. I mean it. Your finger was about to move to the next video, wasn't it? Don't, because what I am about to tell you didn't just randomly appear on your screen. This message has been hunting you down through the algorithm, through the noise, through everything else you watched today that left you feeling emptier than before. This one is different. This one knows your name. This one knows what happened last Tuesday when you sat in your car in the parking lot and couldn't make yourself go inside. This one knows about the prayers you whisper at 3 in the morning when everyone else is asleep. This one knows why you cannot look at old photographs anymore without feeling that ache in your chest. I need you to understand something that is going to sound impossible. Heaven has been tracking your location for the past 72 hours, not in some intrusive way, but in the way a parent watches a child who has wandered too close to danger. You have been moving towards something that looks like a solution but is actually a cliff edge. And 3 days ago, in a room you cannot see with your physical eyes, a decision was made to intervene, to interrupt, to crash into your timeline before you took one more step in the direction that feels right, but leads to devastation. You know that feeling you have had all week, that strange sense that something is shifting, that the air pressure changed, that you keep almost remembering something important, but it slips away before you can grasp it. That is not your imagination. That is not just age or stress or forgetfulness. That is the sound of heaven's machinery moving into position around your life. Divine intervention doesn't always announce itself with trumpets and clouds. Sometimes it shows up as a video that your algorithm had no logical reason to suggest. Sometimes it manifests as an interruption you almost dismissed. Here is what you need to know right now. Right this second. The tragedy you have been bracing for, it is not coming. I know you have been holding your breath through every day, waiting for the other shoe to drop, convinced that the fragile peace you are barely maintaining is about to shatter. I know you wake up every morning with that knot in your stomach, that sense of impending doom that colors everything gray. I know you have stopped making long-term plans because you cannot shake the feeling that something terrible is lurking just around the corner. But I am here to tell you that the thing you are afraid of has already been intercepted. The enemy set a trap, baited it perfectly, knew exactly which fears to trigger to walk you right into it. But he didn't account for the fact that you are not walking through this life alone. Let me be more specific, because vague spiritual platitudes aren't going to cut through the noise in your head. You know that situation that has been keeping you up at night. The one you have played out in your mind 1,000 different ways. None of them good. The one where you lose everything, where the worst-case scenario becomes your reality, where all your fears crystallize into one devastating moment. That timeline just got erased. Not postponed, not delayed, erased. Because 72 hours ago, someone who loves you more than you can comprehend looked at the trajectory you were on and said no. Not my child, not on my watch. But here is the thing about divine intervention. It doesn't always feel divine in the moment. Sometimes it feels like everything is falling apart. Sometimes it looks like doors slamming in your face, opportunities evaporating, relationships imploding, plans crumbling, and you stand there in the rubble thinking, where is God? Why is this happening? I thought I was supposed to be protected. You don't realize that what looks like destruction is actually demolition. There is a difference. Destruction is random, chaotic, meaningless. Demolition is strategic, purposeful, making room for something better. And right now, in your life, there is a controlled demolition happening. Things that you thought were foundations are being revealed as faulty structures. Relationships you thought were solid are showing their cracks. Plans you thought were from heaven are being exposed as your own construction projects. I know it hurts. I know you are exhausted. I know you are tired in places that sleep doesn't reach. Bone tired, soul tired, the kind of tired that settles into your very existence. I know you have been performing strength for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to actually be strong, instead of just looking strong. I know you are drowning while everyone around you thinks you are swimming. I know about the smile you wear to church, to family gatherings, to the grocery store, while inside you are falling apart. I know about the heaviness that sits on your chest every Sunday evening. I know about the medication that isn't quite working the way it used to. I know about the counseling appointments where you cannot quite find the words to explain what is wrong because you don't even understand it yourself. And here is what I need you to hear. That brokenness you feel, it is not a flaw. It is not evidence that something is wrong with you. Stay with me here. You have been viewing your struggle as proof that you are defective, that you are failing, that everyone else figured out how to do life and you missed the instructions. But what if I told you that the breaking is intentional? What if the shattering you are experiencing isn't the end of your story but the beginning of your becoming? What if everything that is falling apart is actually falling into place? Just not in the configuration you expected. See, here is what is really happening. And this is going to sound strange, but I need you to track with me. You are not having a breakdown. You are having a breakthrough disguised as a breakdown. You are not falling apart. You are falling awake. Everything that has been numbed, suppressed, ignored, pushed down, everything you have tried to keep under control for decades, it is all coming to the surface at once. Not to destroy you, but to be dealt with. Not to bury you, but to be excavated and examined, and finally released. You have been carrying weight that was never yours to carry. Shame that belongs to people who hurt you. Guilt for things you didn't do. Responsibility for outcomes you couldn't control. Fear that was programmed into you by circumstances beyond your control. And all of it is rising up right now because it is time. Time to put it down. Time to walk away from it. Time to let it die so you can finally live. But here is where it gets tricky. And this is where most people miss it. The old version of you is going to fight like everything to survive. That identity you built around your wounds, around your struggles, around your story of who you are and what you cannot do. It is going to resist this transformation with everything it has, because transformation feels like death when you are the one being transformed. It feels like you are losing yourself. And you are. You are losing the self that was never really you to begin with. You are losing the costume you have been wearing, the mask you have been hiding behind, the performance you have been giving for 40, 50, 60 years. And underneath all of that, there is someone you haven't met yet. Someone stronger than you imagine. Someone braver than you believe. Someone more capable than you have allowed yourself to be. I know you are scared. I know change feels like chaos, especially at this stage of life. I know you would rather have the familiar pain than the unknown possibility. But what if I told you that the fear you are feeling isn't a warning sign? What if it is actually a compass pointing you toward your purpose? Because here is a truth that will rearrange everything. You will never be afraid of something that isn't meant for you. Fear only shows up at the doorway of your destiny. Anxiety only attacks when you are getting close to breakthrough. Resistance only rises when you are about to step into something significant. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on people who aren't a threat. He doesn't deploy his heaviest weapons against people who are staying small and quiet. The fact that you are under this much pressure, that is not evidence that you are failing. That is evidence that you are dangerous. Let me paint you a picture of what is really happening in the invisible realm right now. While you have been lying awake at 3 in the morning, unable to sleep, convinced that you are alone and forgotten, and too old for God to use, heaven has been in emergency session. Angels have been dispatched. Strategies have been deployed. The enemy's plans have been intercepted and dismantled. Doors that were locked against you are being blown off their hinges. People who wrote you off are about to be shocked. Systems that rejected you are about to malfunction. And the thing you have been praying for, the breakthrough you have been begging for, the miracle you have been waiting for, it is not coming someday. It is already in motion. It is already moving toward you. And the collision between your present reality and your promised future is about to create an explosion that everyone around you will feel. But I need to be honest with you about something, and this might make you uncomfortable. You are going to have to let some things die. Some relationships that you have been trying to resuscitate for years, they are already dead. You are just refusing to bury them. Some dreams that you have been clinging to since you were young, they were never from heaven to begin with. They were just your attempt to fill the void with something that looked spiritual. Some versions of yourself that you have been trying to maintain, they are incompatible with where you are going. And the sooner you release what is dying, the sooner you can receive what is being born. I know that is hard to hear. I know you have invested decades into some of these things. I know you have built your identity around certain relationships, certain roles, certain expectations, I know the thought of letting go feels like losing yourself. But here is what I need you to understand. You cannot carry the old into the new. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. You cannot build your future on a foundation that was never meant to hold the weight of your destiny. And right now, in this exact moment, you are being given a choice. You can cling to what is familiar and stay stuck, or you can open your hands, release what is dying, and receive what is coming. And what is coming? Let me be specific, because you need to know what you are saying yes to. That relationship that wounded you years ago, the one that left you convinced you are not enough, that taught you to build walls instead of bridges, that made you believe your best years are behind you. Heaven is about to bring healing you didn't think was possible. Not a new relationship necessarily, though that may come, but a healing so deep that you will finally be free from the prison of that pain. You will be able to think about it without that stabbing sensation in your chest. You will be able to forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. That financial pressure that has been suffocating you, the bills that arrive faster than the money, the retirement account that is not where it should be, the constant anxiety about having enough, being enough, doing enough. There is a shift happening in the invisible realm right now. Provision that has your name on it is being released from places you haven't imagined. Opportunities you didn't apply for are being arranged. Favor you didn't earn is being assigned. And within 90 days, you are going to look at your situation and weep, not because you are broke, but because you cannot believe how faithful heaven is. That health situation that has been stealing your hope, the diagnosis that felt like a death sentence, the pain that has become your constant companion, the body that feels like it is betraying you after all these years of service. I am about to tell you something that sounds medically impossible. Your body is about to remember how to heal itself, because your body was designed by someone who doesn't need permission from doctors or statistics or age-related prognoses. And when heaven decides it is time for restoration, every cell in your body receives the memo simultaneously. You are going to wake up one morning soon and realize something has shifted. The pain has lessened, the fog has lifted, the strength is returning. That purpose you have been searching for, the reason you are still here, the thing you are supposed to do in these latter years, the contribution you are meant to make, you have been looking for it like it is hiding somewhere out there, waiting to be discovered. But here is the truth. Your purpose isn't lost. It has been buried under other people's expectations, buried under decades of responsibility, buried under the lie that your most productive years are behind you. And right now, it is clawing its way to the surface. That restlessness you feel, that is not dissatisfaction. That is your purpose demanding to be released. That discomfort with your current reality, that is not ingratitude. That is your destiny creating friction with your present circumstances. But here is what you need to understand about this next season. It is going to require a different version of you, not a better version. You are not defective, but a truer version. A version that has been hiding under layers of performance and pretending and people-pleasing for most of your adult life. A version that speaks truth, even when your voice shakes. A version that sets boundaries even when people call you selfish or difficult. A version that takes up space even when you have been taught to shrink. A version that says no without explaining or apologizing. A version that says yes without seeking permission or validation. And I am not going to lie to you. Becoming that version is going to cost you some things. It is going to cost you some relationships with people who preferred you compliant and quiet. It is going to cost you some opportunities that were never aligned with your purpose anyway. It is going to cost you the comfort of being liked by everyone. It is going to cost you the safety of staying invisible. But what you gain is yourself, your voice, your power, your peace, your purpose. And that trade, that is the best deal you will ever make. Now, I need to talk to you about something that nobody else is addressing, and it is probably the most important thing you will hear today. The warfare you are experiencing isn't random. You are not just having a hard season. You are not just going through a difficult time. You are not just dealing with bad luck or bad timing or the natural consequences of aging. You are under targeted attack. And the reason you are under attack is because the enemy knows something about your future that you don't know yet. He knows what you are about to become. He knows who you are about to influence. He knows the damage you are about to do to his kingdom in your remaining years, and he is trying to take you out before you step into that authority. Think about it. Why would the enemy waste resources on someone who is not a threat? Why would he deploy depression, anxiety, financial pressure, health crises, and relationship chaos all at once against someone who is insignificant? He wouldn't. The level of attack you are experiencing is directly proportional to the level of authority you are about to walk in. The intensity of the battle reveals the importance of your assignment, and the fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still believing after everything you have been through, that terrifies hell. Because here is what the enemy didn't account for. Every attack he launches against you becomes ammunition for your testimony. Every wound he inflicts becomes a place where you learn to heal others. Every lie he whispers becomes an opportunity for you to declare truth. Every pit he digs for you becomes a platform for your promotion. He thought he was destroying you, but he was actually training you. He thought he was breaking you, but he was actually building you. He thought he was finishing you, but he was actually forging you into a weapon he cannot withstand. And now you are about to turn around and use everything he meant for evil as a tool for good. That depression that almost took you out, you are about to use it to pull someone else out of the pit. That loss that shattered you, you are about to use it to help someone else rebuild. That betrayal that broke your heart, you are about to use it to teach someone else to trust again. That failure that humiliated you, you are about to use it to give someone else permission to try again. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Everything was preparation. So here is what I need you to do. Take a breath. A real one. Not the shallow breathing you have been doing for months. The barely keeping yourself alive breathing. A deep breath that reaches all the way down to the places that have been holding tension for so long, you forgot what relaxed feels like. And as you breathe out, I want you to release something. Pick one thing, one fear, one worry, one burden, one what if, one worst-case scenario, and just let it go. Not forever. I know that feels impossible. Just for the next 60 seconds, just prove to yourself that you can survive without holding on to it for 1 minute. Did you feel that? That slight shift in your chest? That is not nothing. That is everything. That is the beginning of breakthrough. That is the crack in the dam. That is the first domino falling. Because freedom doesn't usually come all at once, it comes in moments, in choices, in small acts of surrender that accumulate into transformation. And you just took the first step. Now I am going to tell you what is about to happen, and I need you to watch for it because it is going to be easy to miss if you are not paying attention. Within the next 72 hours you are going to receive a sign, not a burning bush or an audible voice, though those things can happen, but a sign that is specifically designed for you, something that only you would recognize as significant. A song that plays at exactly the right moment with lyrics that speak directly to your situation. A conversation that addresses the exact question you have been asking. A scripture that jumps off the page. A memory that surfaces with new meaning. A dream that provides clarity. Something that makes you stop and think that is not a coincidence. And when that happens, I need you to do something that might feel awkward. Acknowledge it. Out loud. Say, I see you. I hear you. Thank you. Because recognition is the beginning of relationship, and relationship is what you have been missing. You have been trying to navigate this season using your own wisdom, your own strength, your own understanding. And it has left you exhausted and lost and convinced you are doing something wrong. But you are not doing anything wrong. You are just trying to do it alone. And you were never meant to do it alone. Here is what else is about to shift your sleep. I know you haven't had a decent night's sleep in months, maybe years. I know you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning with your mind racing, your heart pounding, your body flooded with worry for no apparent reason. I know you lie there in the dark, going over everything you said that day, everything you need to do tomorrow, everything that could go wrong. But that is about to change, because when your spirit settles, your body follows. And your spirit is about to settle because you are finally going to stop fighting battles that aren't yours to fight. And your appetite. I know food has become complicated. I know you are either eating everything in sight trying to fill the void, or you cannot eat at all because your stomach is in knots. But that is about to normalize, because when you stop trying to feed your soul with things that were never meant to satisfy it, your body remembers how to function properly, and your focus. I know you have been walking around in a fog, unable to concentrate, starting things and not finishing them, feeling like your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. But that is about to clear, because when you stop carrying mental weight that belongs to heaven, your mind has room to actually think again. But here is the most important thing that is about to shift: your identity. You have been defining yourself by your struggles, your failures, your age, your limitations. You introduce yourself in your head as the anxious one, or the one who cannot get it together, or the one whose best years are behind them. And every time you do that, you reinforce a false identity. But you are about to remember who you really are. Not who trauma said you are. Not who your failures said you are. Not who society says you should be at this age. Who heaven says you are. And heaven says you are a warrior, not because you win every battle, but because you keep showing up to fight even when you are wounded and tired. Heaven says you are a healer, not because you have it all together, but because you have been broken and you know how to help others piece themselves back together. Heaven says you are wise, not because you know everything, but because you have lived long enough to know what matters. Heaven says you are needed, not despite your age, but because of it. Heaven says you are loved, not because you earned it, but because you exist. And once you start seeing yourself the way heaven sees you, everything else shifts. You stop tolerating relationships that diminish you. You stop accepting limitations that aren't real. You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop asking permission to be yourself, and you start walking in an authority that makes hell nervous. Let me be very specific about what is about to happen in your life, because you need to know what to watch for. Within the next 30 days, someone from your past is going to reach out. Someone you haven't heard from in years, and they are going to say something that gives you closure on a wound you didn't even realize was still bleeding. Within the next 60 days, an opportunity is going to present itself that seems too good to be true, and you are going to be tempted to dismiss it, to talk yourself out of it, to convince yourself you are too old or too tired or not qualified. But you are qualified, not because of your credentials, but because of your character. Not because of your education, but because of your experience. Take the opportunity. Within the next 90 days, you are going to look in the mirror and not recognize yourself. Not because you look different, but because you feel different. The weight will be gone. The exhaustion will be gone. The performance will be gone. And you will see yourself the way you were always meant to be seen, free. But I need to warn you about something. Not everyone is going to celebrate your transformation. Some people have been comfortable with the old version of you. The version that needed them. The version that stayed small. The version that asked permission. The version that apologized for existing. And when you start showing up differently, when you start setting boundaries, when you start saying no, when you start prioritizing yourself, some people are going to be upset. They are going to call you selfish. They are going to accuse you of changing. They are going to try to guilt you back into the box you outgrew. And here is what you need to know. Let them be upset. Let them call you selfish. Let them accuse you of changing, because you are changing. That is the point. You are becoming who you were always meant to be, and anyone who cannot celebrate that, anyone who needs you to stay small so they can feel important, anyone who requires your dimness so they can shine, those people don't belong in your next season. And that is okay. Not everyone is meant to go where you are going. Now let me tell you about the dream that is about to resurrect. You know the one, the dream you buried years ago because life got in the way. The dream you gave up on because responsibilities piled up and time passed, and you convinced yourself it was too late. The dream you told yourself was just a fantasy, just something you wanted when you were young and naive. That dream, it is not dead. It has been dormant, and it is about to wake up, because here is what you didn't understand when you buried it. That dream wasn't just your idea. It was planted. It was a seed of purpose deposited in your spirit before you were born. And you can try to ignore it, suppress it, rationalize it away, but you cannot kill it, because it is connected to your destiny, and destiny doesn't die just because you stop believing in it. It just waits, it hibernates. And then when the season is right, when you are finally ready, when you have been refined enough to handle it, it resurfaces. And when it does, you are going to feel terrified. Because pursuing that dream at this stage of life is going to require you to risk things. Risk failure, risk judgment, risk looking foolish, risk disappointing people. But I need you to understand something. The risk of pursuing your dream is nothing compared to the risk of ignoring it. Because you can survive failure. You can recover from judgment, but you cannot recover the time you waste living someone else's expectations instead of your own calling. So when that dream resurfaces, and it will, I need you to do something brave. Say yes before you know how, before you feel ready, before you have all the resources, before you have the perfect plan. Just say yes, because readiness is a myth. You will never feel ready for the thing you are meant to do. You will never feel qualified for the assignment that has your name on it. But here is the secret. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. Let me tell you what is happening right now as you are reading this. There is a shift occurring in the invisible realm. Things that have been locked are being unlocked. Doors that have been closed are being opened. Opportunities that have been blocked are being released. People who have been assigned to your destiny are being moved into position. Resources that have been withheld are being transferred. And the enemy who has been attacking you, he is being forced to back off. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. Because when heaven issues a decree over your life, hell has to comply. And the decree that has been issued over you is this. It is time. Time to stop surviving and start thriving. Time to stop existing and start living. Time to stop performing and start being. Time to stop hiding and start shining. Time to stop questioning and start knowing. Time to stop waiting and start walking. Time to stop asking permission and start taking authority. Time to stop believing the lie that your best years are behind you and start walking into the truth that your most significant season is ahead. Make a declaration right now. Out loud. Say this with me. I am not who I was. I am not where I was. I am not stuck. I am not forgotten. I am not too old. I am not finished. I am being transformed. I am being positioned. I am being prepared. I am being promoted. And what is coming is bigger than what I lost. What is ahead is better than what is behind. My breakthrough is not coming. My breakthrough is here. If something shifted in your spirit as you read this, if something ancient woke up inside you, if you felt a stirring that you cannot explain, that is not random, that is recognition. Your spirit recognizing truth, your soul remembering who you are, your destiny responding to its name being called. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it, someone who has been quietly struggling, someone who needs to know they are not alone, someone who needs to remember they are not finished. Comment below if you felt that shift. Say I receive it or it is my time. Subscribe, because what is coming next builds on what is breaking open now. This isn't the end of the message. This is the beginning of your transformation. Watch me work. Watch heaven move. Watch your life shift. It has already begun.